Save Game Review. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be reviewing some more of your save games. A couple of weeks have passed and it is time to jump back into these. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so this is the lineup of save games for today's video. We have an Italy campaign in 1636 by Teenage Anarchist right here. Then we got a Burgundy to Lotharingia campaign by Vitruvius on November 20th, 1598. So decent mid games right here so far. And then we have an Akuyunlu to Persia campaign, obviously by Beanbag Bastard on August 1st, 1609. So all three of these campaigns are on the similar time frame right here. So I'm definitely excited to jump into them and check them out. And by the way, this is the second to last video out of this batch of save games that I received. So we're gonna do these three right here for today's video. Then in a few days King of Kings drops, but still the next save games video is still gonna feature these three old ones. But after that video, after you guys have had a little bit of time to play King of Kings, I am gonna request a brand new batch of save games. So all of the hundreds of save games that have been submitted so far, unfortunately we're not gonna get to review them, and I think I'm gonna refresh that whole batch every time a new major update comes out. So when 136 comes out, we're gonna review those, and then when 137 comes out, once again I'm gonna ask for a new batch of save games. So without further ado, let's jump into this first save game right here, Italy by Teenage Anarchist on September 1st, 1636. Alright, here we are in game in this Little Italy campaign, and the first thing that sticks out immediately right off the bat is the fact that it's 1636, almost 200 years into the game, yet this player does not own even the entire region of Italy. But of course, we'll see what's up with that. Maybe the Two Sicilies is a junior partner or a vassal or a, roleplay ally type, thing. But yeah, let's take a look at that first. So the Two Sicilies, it is a junior partner of Italy. Alright, in that case, I have no quarrels with that, and we can see the Diplo situation right here, that Hungary is a vassal and Poland is a junior partner as well. So definitely pretty strong campaign right here. This being owned by Italy is kind of weird. That's all I can say for now. We got France as an ally, although France doesn't seem to be doing too well right here. I'd honestly ditch them and expand into them. Big Akuyunlu right here. But enough about Akuyunlu, let's take a look at Italy. And I'm sort of satisfied with the borders, but at the same time they are pretty border gory, right? You definitely got the right areas of expansion in mind. Like after you get done with Italy, you should push around you. We got some expansion over here. I presume this is trade companies over in the Maghreb region, a little bit of expansion in Egypt. In the Balkans, you got Constantinople, some expansion over here in the Croatia area, and definitely very nice expansion through subjects. But I do feel like, if you've had a bigger goal of blobbing, based on the fact that you got this and this, I feel like this isn't enough conquest for 1636. Either way, let's take a look at the Great Powers. Number 2 on the Great Powers list. Pretty good right after Spain. No complaints about that. Then let's jump into the government reforms. We can see that we are on feudal nobility, which means, let's see, Sforza. So this is probably Milan right here. Yeah, this is probably a Milan campaign. Either way, nothing too much to complain about right there. Curtail noble privileges, sure, if the nobles were too influential, which it doesn't seem like it, so maybe not that good on that one. Representatives of the crown, great for subjects, which is what this player has. Maintain balance of power, I do not recommend if you're staying Catholic. Lance for the church is better. Defensive stance is pretty good, especially for the Milanese missions with the forts up here. Aristocratic court is pretty good. Meritocratic is great. Lockean proviso is pretty good. And yeah, aside from the nobles thing and the maintaining balance of power, the government thing is great. Going over into the court right here, we can see that he's a level 3, 2, and 1 advisor. We'll see if that's a financial issue later on. And in the diplomacy tab, these are the allies. Not a lot of them are needed. Weird guarantees over here as well. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe to prevent some rivals from expanding, but yeah, it's looking decent over here. And the economy actually, for this size and what you're doing right here, economy is actually good. This is tax, production, trade, gold mine as well. Where's that gold mine actually? Oh, that one in Intal. Okay, no big deal right there. But obviously you could be running slightly larger armies, even though they already are pretty huge. So maybe more expensive advisors. Trade right here. We'll see what kind of ideas this player went with. But if you went to trade ideas as Italy, this would be a lot bigger by now, even if you don't control a lot outside of Genoa and Venice. So I'm going to stay reserved on this one. 15% goods produced. That's not that bad. Ahead of time in tech, way ahead of time. Quality diplo, economic court, offensive. depending on your campaign, these may not be that bad ideas, but yeah, I'm sort of expecting to see, I was sort of expecting to see a trade right here, so a little minus on a trade right there as well. But the other ideas seem okay. You know, court is kind of weird maybe, but yeah, we'll take it, we'll take it. And this player has actually stuck with Milanese ideas, which means that they have not actually been planning to blob out that much, which in that case does make these ideas and does make these borders okay-ish, even though they may not be ideal. Lots of missions accomplished right here. Obviously, these are, you know, already the Italian... Wait, they're not the Italian ones, are they? Yeah, they are the Italian ones. Okay, and the decisions right here, this is good, this is good, this is good. You should probably take this, and if I'm gonna be honest, this once you complete offensive. Everything seems to be okay over here. Good on GovCap, high on rest, but that's because this player is overextended. Just got done fighting a war versus the Mamluks, obviously. Religion, all of this is obviously trade companies. Everything else is Catholic, so nothing to complain about right here. In the military tab, 32 combat with, let's see right there. Unless these armies are split, then that is not good army composition. If I'm being honest, really it should be like 32-0-32 by this point, and then if you split them, it is just a 32 stack. But even if they are split, these 32 stacks, which it doesn't seem like they are, that's subpar army composition. In fact, the only time this army composition is good without the cannons is 1444 at Tech 3. After that, you pretty much want to scale it up. So yeah, even this army is okay if you merge them, I guess, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So not good army composition unless you're splitting them, but to me it doesn't look like they're split. Then in the subjects tab, everything is okay here. The Barbary Trade Company, the Egyptian Trade Company, and these vassals and junior partners, that's pretty good right there. And by this point, you're not blobbing out that much, man. You really do not need the absolutism. You don't even have that much max absolutism, nor do you have any absolutism at all, so no need to not give any privileges to the estates. All of these guys should have the, you know, the land of commerce thing. Why do all of these give +1 max absolutism? I don't actually know where that's from. Is that like an Italian mission or a bug or something? No, there's no way all of these privileges can give +1 max absolutism. I'm sorry, but I really don't know what's going on here. Is this some sort of guild with a state loyalty? That's gotta be like some Italian mission, man, that I don't know about. Yeah, really not familiar with this, so I'm not gonna give or take away any points for this, but let me know in the comments below what's going on with that. I've actually never seen that, I'm gonna be honest. After going through that, let's take a look at the Holy Roman Empire, because this player is the emperor of the HRE. This is what the HRE is looking like. So it hasn't really been expanded that much outside of the, you know, original borders right here. Obviously, Hungary and Bosnia have joined, and this player has added his own provinces, but let's go into the HRE right here. Okay, we've passed 4 reforms so far, and we're gaining imperial authority, which is pretty nice, although people don't seem to be voting for Italy right here. Of course, that is because there is no heir, but I'm sure, you know, once the heir comes back, people will start voting. Then he can pass perpetual diet. After that, you know, he can push on to the centralization reforms and stuff like that. So, you know, a nice tall-ish, blob-ish HRE campaign. Even though the borders are pretty border-gory, I definitely can see the goals of this player. So yeah, the goals do seem like they're being accomplished. Taking a look at the navies right here real quick, lots of transports, only transports and heavies, not something you really want to focus on when playing in the Mediterranean. I'd honestly replace a lot of these heavies with galleys, because you are spending so much money on navies when you really don't need that much heavies right here, right? You can probably do the job with 100 galleys, which are, I think, cheaper than 44 transports or something like that, but hey, to each their own. Trade setup honestly is looking nice. Everything is being routed to Genoa, although you could collect in Venice as well, even though there's really no need unless you're routing from Vienna or something like that. So trade setup excellent right here. Let's take a look at the buildings now and stuff like that, and promoted cultures. Okay, everything is accepted. Only Croatian is promoted. That's pretty good right there. Going over into the buildings tab, we can see the marketplaces. Yep, all the relevant ones have been built. Let's see if they've been upgraded. The trade depots, yes, a lot of them have, so excellent points right there. Courthouses, yeah, pretty much put down anywhere that they could be. Not struggling with GovCap, which is something I'm happy to see. Going on into the workshops, once again, these are full. Going into the churches, everything is excellent here. Let's take a look at some army buildings. Yeah, a couple of those. Navy buildings, not that much, honestly. Yeah, everything seems to be pretty good right here with the buildings. I really don't have any complaints about that. This player is is also the Curia controller, which is excellent. I just noticed that right now. So bonus points for this as well. If you can stay a hold of the Curia controller, that's excellent. You do get really nice bonuses with this. So this is sort of like you know, I can definitely see the concept right here. HRE Emperor, Curia controller, not expanding that much, expanding, you know, carefully with careful goes. I still don't know what this is for. Maybe just to get some of these provinces back that Denmark owned or something like that. But yeah, even though there is lots of border gore, I can definitely see this player's goal. So yeah, with all of that in mind, I do think this is a pretty good campaign. The only real negative points I have right here is you could be getting more income from trade by just taking trade ideas right here, which I do think is necessary in any Italy run, if I'm being honest. So a little bit of minus points on that, a little bit of minus points on the armies if they're not split, which I'm going to assume there aren't, because you still don't have enough cannons even if they're split, and you have more than enough infantry and cavalry even if they're split. And then I'm going to take away a little bit of points on the border gore right here. And well, even if you were doing a tall campaign, I do think it should be a lot more focused on the Valencia Ragusa trade nodes by now. So yeah, even if it is a tall-ish campaign and not enough expansion. And wait, what was the rating system again? Out of 5, right? So yeah, with all that in mind, I'm gonna give this Italy campaign a 4 out of 5. Let's move on with the next one. Alright, our next campaign here is a Burgundy to Lotharingia run by Vitruvius on November 20th, 1598. Alright, here we are in our little Lotharingia campaign, and honestly, from what I can see so far, things are looking pretty good for this player right here. Let's take a look at the diplomat mode immediately. Quite a lot of expansion. We have France as a vassal, which is kind of funny, honestly, and then Austria and Bohemia. Austria as a vassal, actually, and then Bohemia as a junior partner. Alliances with the Pope, with Hungary, Poland, and Lithuania. That's looking pretty good. Mainz, the Palatinate as well, Trier. So I am going to guess that this player is the HRE Emperor. Now, when you're playing Lotharingia, if you're not the HRE Emperor, obviously you would want to expand over in this region right here. However, if you are the HRE Emperor, then you're probably going to want to leave these guys alone, and we can see that this player is the HRE Emperor, which makes this even more of a fun playthrough. Going over in the Great Powers list, first we can see that Lotharingia right here is number 3 on the Great Powers list, a little bit behind the Ottomans right here, but pretty close. Spain is once again number 1 in her second game today, so really no complaints about that. That's looking pretty good right there. Let's go into the court tab right here. Level 3 advisors, that's excellent. This guy's pretty old with no heir. He's about to die. Risky business right there. Lots of you know, cultures promoted as well. Dutch, Flemish, Swiss, Frisian as well. Of course, these other ones are auto accepted from the French culture group. Everything is good right there. In the diplomacy tab, these are the allies. Even have a crown calling right here, Nouvelle Flandre. I'm gonna have to see where that is. I guess it's over here in North America, which is pretty good. And then these are the subjects, so everything is great right there. In the economy tab, making decent income, similar to what Italy was making last time. Pretty good control of these trade nodes once again. I'm assuming there's no trade ideas right here, otherwise there'd be a lot more income, no gold or anything like that. So yeah, pretty high taxation efficiency if you ask me. Army size is looking pretty good, so yeah, you could even afford slightly more expensive advisors over here, unless you're, you know, saving money to build buildings, which it does seem like it's happening. In the trade tab, everything is okay over here. 15% goods produced. This is the trade income. I wish it was a little bit more, but yeah, no complaints about that. Ahead of time in tech, ideas, diplo, quality, quantity, economics. So weird to see 2 mill idea groups, one right after the other, but you definitely want to go diplo for sure, or influence when starting off as Burgundy, you know, because of all the subjects you have at the start, because of all the subjects that you're gonna get later. You're gonna be the HRE Emperor, you're gonna have even bigger subjects, so that's definitely a great opener. Diplo quality, I just go with something else right here, and then here get quantity. Maybe economic quantity would be better, but yeah, no complaints about this. Maybe once you gain a better control of the English Channel, you could go with trade or something like that. But yeah, pretty good ideas for Burgundy to Lotharingia run. These are the missions right here. Obviously, a huge portion of them already completed, which is always nice to see. In the policies tab, we got some pretty good policies right here as far as I can tell. Yeah, all of them have been taken out, which is always excellent to see. Slightly over gov cap, something that a lot of players struggle with. I'm assuming this player has already even been building buildings, but we'll see you know, what that situation is right there. In the religion tab, everything, well, almost everything is Catholic. We can see that there hasn't been too much of a focus on you know, quelling the Protestant Reformation and stuff like that, but really no problems personally for Lotharingia right here. with you know, the religion wise. In the army tab, almost max land force limit, pretty good morale and discipline and army tradition as well, if you're asking me. Combat width is 30. Let's take a look at these armies right here. So they are 34 10 at this point. Let's check Miltech. Yeah, you are gonna want to start bumping up the artillery, although the infantry and cavalry numbers are pretty good. So really no complaints about this either. Really strong generals as well, nice combat ability, decent professionalism, and the subjects tab, there really isn't much to see. Austria still hates this player, so you know, we can assume that Austria has been declared on pretty recently right here, and the estates still filled out with privileges, a very high crown and ownership. Absolutism hasn't spawned yet, of course, so yeah, everything is looking pretty good right here. Let's move on to the papacy tab. Nothing else to see there in the HRE tab, so I guess this player was only focusing on being the HRE emperor and not passing reforms, which is a pretty valid strategy as well. You know, slight gain of imperial authority, but there are so many heretic princes that it'll be problematic to keep these guys you know, in check. Lots of people are voting for Poland, interestingly enough. Not a lot of people voting for Lotharingia, even though Lotharingia is unelected, obviously, because of the no heir thing once again. So yeah, being the HRE emperor even without passing reforms, pretty valid if you're asking me. Let's go over into the government reform tabs right here. Still the Burgundian state tier 1 government reform, which is pretty powerful. Compromise with the nobility, everything is good right there. Royal favoritism is kind of weird, honestly. I wouldn't go with that personally. Lanes for the church is great, sustained discipline is great, royal decree is great. Even though absolutism hasn't spawned yet, I guess this is preemptive, but before absolutism, you could definitely very much use aristocratic court as Burgundy, especially for all the vassals and diplomatic relations that you're gonna have. Meritocratic is great, economic theory is great, so really my only complaint right here is royal favoritism, and this one slightly. Aside from that, everything is looking totally legit. Let's take a look at the buildings tab right now. So the marketplaces, yep, all the relevant ones seem to have been built. I can't see any that give above 2 right here, so that's all legit right there. Courthouses filled out, obviously struggling with GovCap, even though all of these courthouses have been you know, built, so that's just something you're gonna have to deal with, I guess. Looking at the workshops, all of them have been built. That's looking pretty good right there. I don't see any high value trade goods without workshops right here. Churches is looking pretty good too. Let's see, army buildings, lots of army buildings as well. No regiment, no force limit thingies right there, and we can see a lot of these right here are being built like soldiers' households. These are actually the manufactories, which is you know, pretty nice. I guess there are quite a lot of manufactories over here as well. So yeah, man, on the buildings and on the economy tab, everything is looking pretty good. Main trade node right here is the English Channel. All of this is being routed to the English Channel, and slight collection in Genoa. I wouldn't recommend collecting in Genoa, not really holding enough over there, so you could transfer some more to the English Channel, but everything right there is looking pretty legit. After this, of course, you'd probably want to move on, expanding into Italy, into Spain, something like that. Since you're the HRE emperor, you really won't be pushing too much into this region, but you could definitely go for Great Britain and Ireland, Iberia, Italy over here. So expansion is looking pretty nice as well. Let's take a look at the boats real quick. This is, I guess, the main fleet with transports, heavies, and galleys. Nice flagship as well. The Italy campaign had a flagship as well. Then we got these light ships right here protecting trade in the English Channel. You really don't need 40 of them to protect trade over here. You could just push into the English right here and beat them up. You know, the max I would put in one trade node maybe as 20 or something like that. You could put about half of these to, you know, protect in Genoa if you're collecting over there. Either way, lots of buildings being built, and yeah, overall converting some stuff as well over in the New World, I guess. Yeah, this colony is growing. Maybe this player is gonna get into some quarrels in the New World as well, so things are looking pretty good right here. I really honestly don't have a lot of negative things to say about this campaign, aside from a couple of mispicks maybe on the, you know, government reforms, and yeah, that I probably wouldn't go quantity as my third idea group, but even then, that's not a really big one. Expansion for 1600 is looking pretty good as Lotharingia right here, I have to say. So really my only complaint right here is not making more money from trade, because you definitely can by controlling all of this right here. Let me also take a look at autonomy. Autonomy is looking pretty good. I didn't check that out in the Italy campaign, but nonetheless, everything is looking pretty good right here. And for 1600, this is a really nice Lotharingia campaign. My rating for this is gonna be a 5. Not enough complaints to lower the rating. Let's move on with the next one. And our final campaign for today is an Akkuyunlu to Persia campaign by Beanbag Bastard on August 1st, 1609. Let's jump in. Alright, here we are in our little Persia campaign, and right off the bat, I can tell you that I absolutely love these borders, man. You guys know I'm a sucker for clean borders, and as always, boys, let me say that the stuff, I say in these videos, this is objective. Even though I might give the campaign a 5 rating, it may not be objectively good, or, I rate it based on the things I like and based on my playstyle, so don't take everything I say to heart. But yeah, right away, I'm loving these borders as Persia right here, even though everything isn't full stated, so we'll get to see what that's all about. But the first thing I can notice right here is that we are at war with Bahmanis right here, a war that we do seem to be winning with Kazan and Nogay, which seem to be subjects right here, and severely lacking manpower, even though that max manpower is awesome. This war, of course, is going to be won, and the religion is Zoroastrian, which is always super nice to see. I'm excited to see your Zoroastrian Persia campaigns once 136 drops. But let's go on into the nit and grit and take a look at the Great Powers list, which we are number 3 on, and we actually would be number 1 on the Great Powers list if we had an institution embraced, which is excellent, nothing to complain about right here. Going on to the government reforms, we are the Persian government, a super powerful government type as always. Strength and noble privilege is awesome. Decentralized, honestly, for a campaign such as this, it's probably good for the max promoted cultures, and definitely need to have a way more government reforms by this point. But of course, Akuyunlu does start off as a tribe, if I'm not mistaken, so this player, I think, had to go through all the tribal reforms first, then, become a monarchy or whatever when you form Persia and whatnot, so maybe that's why there are so little of these. Anyone in the comments, please correct me if I'm wrong. Going on into the court tab right here, we can see that we have a horrible ruler, but 5 and level 3 advisors, some of them super expensive, some of them super cheap, which means income is absolutely booming for this player right here. In the government tab, lots of promoted cultures. We got Mashriki, Georgian, Armenian, Dagestani, Circassian, Khaliji, so that's pretty good right there as well. Sanctioned Holy War can't be taken, these can, and yeah, everything is looking pretty good right here. In the diplomacy tab, these are the rivals. Only ally is Bengal, which of course you wouldn't really have lots of allies as Persia, let's be real here. And Kazan and Nogay are vassals, which weird route to expand it as Persia, but I'm not gonna take away any points for that. In fact, that is good that these guys are subjects. They will help out quite a lot, even though it's not a common expansion route for Persia. In the economy tab, things are looking pretty good. All of our players today have had pretty similar income for the similar time frame as well. Nice income from all of these, most income from trade, which is something I do like to see right here. Spoils of war, war reps, everything is looking pretty legit right here. Nice income, so yeah, things are looking pretty good right there. Everything is nice in the trade tab. All of our players have also had 15% goods produced today. This player has 20, but it's down due to war exhaustion. Going on into the tech, not too ahead in time, obviously hasn't embraced global trade, even though this player will be able to embrace it pretty soon. But yeah, pretty good on tech compared to these guys around. You definitely want to get the Mil 17 stat though, since the Ottomans might feel pretty bold right here. Either way, that's a big Austria too. Ottomans have lost stuff this campaign. In the ideas tab, we got espionage, which is honestly a weird pick for this campaign. Even as Akuyunlu, man. Religious, if you're Zoroastrian, you definitely want to take way earlier as well. Aristo, I guess, is pretty good, especially paired with the Cav combat. Admin is pretty good too, so yeah, good points on these right here. Espionage though, even though it is useful now in these latest couple of updates, I really don't see it being a too valid one for an Akuyunlu Persia campaign. I'd probably open up with Diplo or something like that to help you get strong allies to break free out of this region as Akuyunlu. But yeah, everything else is great aside from espionage. In the missions right here, yeah, no Persian missions, or these are the Persian missions actually. Jesus Christ, King of Kings can't come soon enough, bro. There's like 120 for Persia. I'm so excited to play it. But yeah, not too much to say about this. In the decisions, we got this one, which is good. This one is good. Lots of, I guess, these privileges active that I don't use too often. But yeah, you definitely want to go with the missionary strength, especially right here as a Zoroastrian campaign. Slightly over gov cap as well, high unrest, but of course we're at war and stuff like that. Definitely want to lower war exhaustion too. In the religion tab, of course, not a lot of religious unity. It is pretty slow to convert stuff, especially if you don't have a ton of missionaries. This player only has 2, so yeah, definitely want to be defender of the faith as well. Actually, you can't do that as Zoroastrian, my bad, but yeah, converting definitely is something you're going to be doing the whole game if you're going Zoroastrian. I really don't have anything to say about this. It's just slow, and it is what it is. In the military tab, decent morale, decent discipline as well. Well, discipline could be higher, of course. Okay-ish army tradition, maxed out at 152. Force limit combat width is 30. We really can't take a look at the armies right now. 24-4, is that what they seem to be? Yeah, definitely subpar army comp. Actually, no, with the 10 cavalry regiments, army comp is good. You know, at least for the infantry cavalry part, 34, if combat was 30, then 34 is pretty good, but that's definitely not enough cannons by this point in the game, man. Miltech 16, you would probably want to have at least 15 to 18 regiments of cannons, and pretty soon to start bumping it up to 30, which is your force limit. So yeah, definitely need way more cannons over here, and yeah, you're attritioning a whole lot. Quantity would come in really nice over here as well. So, you know, my opener for this would be Aristo is pretty good as Persia, I'll give you that, but I'd probably go like Diplo Religious, something like that, or maybe Diplo Aristo Religious quantity or something like that. There's lots of attrition over in these regions, but yeah, the expansion opportunities look pretty great. Not everything has been stated, of course. Finally, moving on to the subjects, lots of trade companies over here, as we can see. Let's take a look at the capital. Actually, where is the capital? The capital is in Qom, so everything, I guess, this way can be trade companied. West India. Yeah, lots of stuff over here seems to be trade company. Transoxiana, Punjab, North India, Mashriki, Levant, Hormuz, Egypt. Yeah, so everything over here that's pretty much, you know, not a part of this subcontinent right here can be trade companied, which is pretty good. I don't know if I'd do it. I'd probably go full state everything right here at least. Maybe trade company stuff in India, but yeah, not too many complaints about that. And in the estates, everything is looking pretty legit. Nice privileges granted. Absolutism hasn't spawned yet. So yeah, the only negative points I can give so far are honestly the weird espionage pick. Maybe this player needed it, of course, but and the lack of cannons in the army composition. And then again, I don't know if I would trade company everything right here. So aside from that, those things are looking pretty legit. Let's take a look at the merchant setup. Lots of merchants. Everything is being routed to over here. That seems pretty legit right there. And finally, let's move on into the buildings right here. Marketplaces. Yeah, there's definitely a lack of marketplaces. You do need to build one in every single province from here to down here. If you're asking me, all of these will bring you very nice trade income. So a lot of them have been built, definitely not enough. Going over into the courthouses. Yeah. See, this is the problem right here. 0 courthouses, but over gov cap. Definitely need to start building these stat right here. Workshops, yeah. Oh, there's so many workshops to build right here, bro, especially in the Persia region. Look at this. Look at this. All of these. Not the cows. Let's skip the cows. All of these right here. Cotton is pretty good too, actually. All the spices, tea, iron, copper, salt, cloth. There's so many workshops to be built. Let's take a look at the churches as well, or the fire temples, I should say. Yeah, lots of churches that can be built as well. So this player has definitely lots of manufactories are active though, but definitely not been focusing on building a big minus, especially for the courthouses and the workshops, if you're asking me. So you know, a campaign that looks nice pre-borders right here. Everything seems to be going according to plan, but lots of little mistakes here and there that in my opinion do add up. Let's also take a look at autonomy right here. Autonomy seems to have been lowered to the max everywhere that it can. Of course, we do have a lot of trade companies as well, and not a lot of navies, although you really wouldn't be utilizing your navies too heavily as someone like Persia, although maybe you want to get some galleys and heavies up to help you expand maybe in this region or in this region if you're even going that way. So yeah, campaign's looking pretty nice, borders are looking pretty good, expansion is looking pretty good, but definitely negative points on the idea group picks, on the cannons, and especially on the buildings, specifically on the courthouses when you're struggling so much with governing capacity. And of course, I take religious earlier so you can convert a lot more. So yeah, with all that said, I'm going to be giving this campaign the final one for today, even though it's one of my favorite nations in the game. Maybe that's why I'm so passionate about it. A rating of 3.5, the weakest one for today. And that about wraps up today's save game review. But yeah, boys, like I said, that's it for today's save game review. This is the second to last video for this latest batch of, you know, save game submissions. Like I said at the start, we only have this one, and this one left for next video. And from now on, I'm no longer accepting submissions for old campaigns. If you are submitting your campaigns, make sure they are on the 136 patch, the latest, you know, sort of major update. And we'll keep going through those until 137 hits. And as always, there are so many submissions that there's no way I can get to all of them even by the time 137 drops. So if you submit it first, it's gonna get reviewed first. It's as simple as that. Make sure they are Iron Man and make sure they are only one submission per person. If you post 2, I'm only gonna do the first one. If you post 1, someone else posts 1, then you post 1 again, I'm still not gonna do your second one. So only 1 submission per person on 136, and make sure they are Iron Man. And as long as you're quick and you submit fast, they will get reviewed. We have lots of time by the time 137 drops. drops. But yeah, that's been it for today's video. These are the next ones. You'll see them in about 2 or 3 weeks, and after that we're moving on with 136 ones. And yeah, that's been the ratings for today. Super exciting ones, and I'm excited to see what these campaigns will bring us as well. But that's about it for me for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like. It really helps out a lot. And if you like the content and want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of them. And you can become a member today and join the Discord. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another EU4 video.